Ozone and burnt wiring thickened the air. The official CIA timeline declares MKUltra's termination in 1973. Yet a 1975 internal memorandum references ongoing, psychic driving experiments under a different code name. Within 6 hours of that memo, a Maryland family reported their 8-year-old daughter missing. The file, marked secret, felt cold. Ink bled into 17 blank pages, a spreading stain. A dead man's hollow voice still whispered through static, a phantom echo. Officials called it an accident. They were wrong. What did the CIA truly bury beneath Project Bluebird? Sidney Gottlieb stood in a Washington safe house basement, fluorescent lights humming. His hands trembled from 72 hours of caffeine-fueled work. On the worn table lay a reel-to-reel recorder and electrodes. Strapped to a gurney was Frank Olson, a biochemist. No criminal record, only photos of his wife and 3 children. Gottlieb's finger, steady, pressed record. The tape hissed. Olson's voice, slurred, "I see colors moving behind my eyes. They're not mine." The reel spun. The date, 1953. The basement wasn't the only place minds were being reshaped. In Montreal, Dr. Ewen Cameron's Allan Memorial Institute was known as the sleep room. Padded walls, blacked-out windows, and heavy steel doors locked from outside. Cameron's technique, electroconvulsive therapy at 20 times the normal dose, followed by weeks of sensory deprivation. Then, 12 hours daily, a loop of the patient's own voice repeating insecurities. Gail Kastner, a survivor, recounted, voice trembling, "I forgot how to speak. I forgot how to walk. I forgot my own name." This chilling work received $140,000. From the CIA, over $1 million today. If you question how a government agency could fund such a violation, subscribe, because the lengths they went to cover it up are even more astounding. The money bought science, it bought silence. In 1964, CIA Director John McCone signed an eyes-only memo, destruction of MKUltra operational files. Burn everything. No copies. No backups. Yet, one box survived, found in 1977 during the Church Committee hearings. Inside, contracts, memos, and a single audio tape, handwritten label, Project Bluebird, Phase 3. Dated 1975. 3 years after MKUltra supposedly ended. The tape's contents were far worse. When the Church Committee played it for Congress, the room fell silent. The voice wasn't a scientist's, nor a broken subject's. It was a child's. A girl, no older than 8, repeating, "I am not real. I am not real. I am not real." The tape cut off. No one knew who the girl was, or where she was now. The girl wasn't the only loose end. In 1985, Frank Olson's family sued the U.S. government. They won $750,000. The official explanation: Olson jumped from a hotel window after a bad LSD trip. But their lawyer, Harry H. Voigt, called it murder. The judge sealed the case files until 2021. That's when transcripts from MKUltra surfaced, brittle but crackling. The trial wasn't about LSD or mind control as expected. It was about microwave radiation. Subjects reported voices, not through ears, but from inside their skulls, matching frequencies beamed into isolation cells. One technician stated, the subjects described the voices as coming from inside their skulls. Not through their ears. Through their bones. The judge ruled, the experiments violated every ethical standard of the Nuremberg Code. The CIA never appealed. 2023 declassifications added another layer. Among newly released files were audio tape contracts, invoices for recording equipment, soundproof rooms, reel-to-reel machines. Dated 1974. The last MKUltra file was supposedly destroyed in 1964. Why buy equipment a decade later? The answer lay in the 1975 memorandum, titled, Psychic Driving, Continuation under Project Stargate. Stargate wasn't new, it was a rebrand. The author: Sidney Gottlieb. The experiments didn't stop in 1973. They just changed names. What does this mean today? Enhanced interrogation. Sensory deprivation. Isolation tanks. The CIA's playbook evolved. Abu Ghraib, 2003, showed prisoners hooded, disoriented. Senate reports, 2014, confirmed rectal feeding. Declassified cables, 2020, revealed enhanced sleep deprivation in black sites. Techniques changed. The core goal, to break and reshape the human mind, didn't. So where does this leave us? The official story says MKUltra ended in 1973. The files say it didn't. The tapes say it got worse. The settlements say people died. But one question lingers: who was the girl on the 1975 tape? And what did the CIA do to her after the reel stopped spinning? The reel did stop spinning. But the tape didn't. The final 90 seconds were never catalogued, buried in a technical errors crate at the National Archives Annex. A 2019 FOIA request from a determined journalist brought them to light. When an archivist played them, she heard something that made her call colleagues, then a doctor, then the police. The girl on the tape wasn't a test subject. She was an observer. The 8-year-old child of Dr. Harold Voss, one of the doctors. He worked in McGill's sensory deprivation wing. She wore an oversized lab coat, drawing pictures of the tanks. She never spoke on camera, but she listened. And she remembered. In the uncut footage, her voice is barely audible over the machine's hum. A fragile whisper, repeated. Asterisk, they're not making us forget. They're making us remember something else. Asterisk. The exact phrase appears in 3 other 1975, eyes-only, declassified documents, all signed by Dr. Ewen Cameron. Cameron had been dead for 2 years when the tape was made. His influence wasn't buried with him. The phrase matches a line from his 1960 paper. Asterisk, the mind is not erased. It is redirected. Asterisk. Redirecting the mind. That's what Project Stargate became. Not psychic spying or simple mind control. A form of psychic editing. The CIA wasn't trying to implant thoughts. They were trying to erase them. Not memories of the past. Memories of the future. The girl's drawings, recovered from her father's estate in 2021, show a recurring symbol, a door with no handle. On one, scribbled in crayon. Asterisk, the door is in the tank. Asterisk. The same phrase appears in a 1976 CIA memo, Temporal Displacement, Feasibility Study, classified until 2017. It describes experiments where subjects in isolation tanks were exposed to pulsed electromagnetic fields to induce temporal confusion, blurring past, present, and future. The Abu Ghraib files didn't just show torture. They showed time distortion. Prisoners reported seeing their own deaths, flashes of future violence. Hearing voices from decades ahead. One detainee, KSM-2, wrote, script shaky. Asterisk, the walls breathe. The guards are from another year. Asterisk. The CIA's psychologist noted.
Subject exhibits symptoms of temporal displacement. Subject believes he is living in 2047.
The immediate goal failed, but the technique evolved. By 2010, the CIA funded Stanford research on chronesthesia, mental projection of past and future. Titled
Project Looking Glass.
Declassified 2012 emails show a researcher asking,
Can we use EM fields to make a subject believe they've already lived a future event?
The reply.
Yes. But only if we first erase the memory of the event occurring.
The goal wasn't prediction. It was
preemption.
To make a subject prevent an event by believing it already happened. The girl on the tape wasn't a victim. She was a witness. A child who saw and remembered too much. Her father, Dr. Harold Voss, part of the Stargate team, died in 1983 under suspicious circumstances, officially suicide, but the coroner's report listed electromagnetic exposure as a possible factor. His notes, found in 2018, describe a session where Subject 7 spoke in a voice not his own.
You're not changing the past. You're changing what hasn't happened yet.
The final twist. The girl survived. She's alive today,